The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Table Topics. And if you're watching this show other than on a Tuesday, it's a repeat. Come back next week on the Tuesday to catch a new show.
Very good. And welcome. We're back for another show. Will be the second show of this year. And I believe it's going to be the 8th season or 9th season, something like that. But yeah, we're getting old. That's what I want to say. We're getting old. Very good. So really, table topics. It's always it's like the circus. We just run into the arena. We don't know what we're going to say or what we're going to do, but the show must go on.
I got something that I
Sure.
actually saw on my phone coming in. There's a group called the World Economic Forum. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They're also the Davos group that meets in Switzerland every January.
Yeah.
And all the rich people fly in on their huge jets and then complain about climate change.
Too bad, because mine is I give it for a couple of days to somebody, so I'm going to miss the meeting.
But it takes place somewhere in Switzerland, Davos, yeah. I guess Switzerland. But I was reading a couple days back, they're talking about this disease X. Disease X, it's going to be worse than COVID when it comes out. And when I was driving here, when I got here, I looked at my phone. It was basically the WEF/Davos group are discussing the disease X, so what comes after COVID-19. It'll be much more contagious, and COVID. COVID was a bad thing. I get it, but only 0.1% of the people that got it died. This one, they're saying the mortality rate will be many times higher than that. So it was just funny that I was looking at something a couple weeks back, and they were talking about disease X, and I'm like, what the hell is disease X?
And let me guess that's going to hit in January, because we have a new president.
Yeah, no,
so it's going to hit in January.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if we have a new president, or is this to stir up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these other things during election year. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to see. I'm sure if somebody else gets in, then the president. I'm sure we're going to have the Antifa and all those people rioting all over again.
This time we still can. This time we don't need masks, but we just need gloves. Will be the glove
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
We all want to need one glove.
I'll have to read up on it a little more, but it was interesting.
Interesting.
And they have videos on this thing that's going on, this convention or conference or whatever. But I just haven't had time to take a look at it.
Well, I don't know if I got what I thought was the flu, because I didn't got my flu shot last year. So I did got sick about a month ago or so. I remember I texted you.
Yeah.
And that thing lasts at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because for a few days I was in bed. I was very dizzy. I was in bed.
Did you have a fever too?
No fever.
No? Oh, okay.
But it was interesting. It was because when you have that feeling that you don't feel good. You feel sick.
Yeah, feel run
You're
down.
not really sick in bed.
Yeah.
But you have that feeling sick all the time.
Yeah.
You don't feel nothing.
Yeah.
The sun's not shining for you.
You're not back.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not normal for you. You feel
it's not
achy,
normal.
whatever. Yeah.
So, and it's funny that a week after, my daughter got sick too.
Yeah.
And she went to not the emergency, but the walk-in.
Yeah.
And they identified her with the flu type 1.
Okay.
I guess they had they have different types of flu. So the flu that she got, she Googled, and came from pets.
Oh, okay. Oh.
So she was telling Daddy, I mean, my dog was sick last week. You know, I mean, she could hold herself, was doing all over the place.
Yeah.
So she was sick. So so it's new disease out there now that, you know, it's like
It comes to get animals, I know. It's
usually the flu. Usually the flu, when I got the flu, it's 2 days. You know,
Yeah,
one day you don't feel good, the next day you wake up like sick, but the following day you start recuperating.
Yeah.
But this thing was like you don't feel like doing anything. It was like really for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was getting out of bed, going to do my work, and coming back to bed again.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
it's like
Yeah.
that was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's that time of year.
Maybe because we passed the 50s and.
Yeah. No. Well, your immune system breaks down after a certain age. So yeah. So it's probably that. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. You know what I mean? There's there was the COVID thing. You know, now we find out, but nobody wants to admit to it. But some of the federal agencies were saying there's a high probability that the COVID virus started in a lab in Wuhan in China. But then it just dies. Then we don't hear anything about it. Like, so my thing is that if you do something wrong, you make a mistake, right? Don't you want to go back and see what you did so you don't make that same mistake again? But it's like, oh, well, what does it matter where it came from?
I think that one thing that not just us, America, but the world learned was you don't shut down completely.
Yeah.
You don't do that because you fall 10 years behind.
Exactly.
Okay? So it's something that you have to have another way to control it.
Yeah.
Maybe people taking serious when is a time to protect yourself, to put a mask on, to put a glove on.
Yeah.
Maybe if we go that way and we take it serious, we don't have to go to that extreme of shutting down. But shutting down, I think the world learn don't shut down the way we did.
I hope to God they do, because we don't look back at our history. So basically, when they shut down everything, the schools, and all these kids are so far behind now, a grade or two behind. You know, instead of looking at, we have all these brilliant people, these brilliant minds that deal with infectious diseases and everything. So my thing would be, you protect the people that are vulnerable and let everybody else go upon their business, right? If you have a kid, and a week after the kid's born, I don't know about you, you're probably the same as me. The kid didn't go out for like a month. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to protect that kid and the immune system. So what did we do? We did the complete opposite, and we put sick people back in nursing facilities. Like, does that make any sense?
Well, I mean, it was to a point that my wife at the time, she used to take care of a couple of old ladies. She used to go there, feed them, give them baths and everything, and put them to bed and everything. She had to drive around with a ladder from the state, saying that she was okay to drive around, because it was the basic services or whatever they call it.
But amazing, Carlos, right? That's almost like becoming a communist state, right? That you have to have, where's your papers? Didn't we see that in history all the time? But then I hear all the time, that's fascist. It's like, no, that stuff was fascist. That was going on.
I mean, it was so bad that her papers had her name on it, or else I will drive around with her paper too, But talking about breaking the law. It was, I mean, it was terrible. It's 2 years it's gone, and we still have effects from that. Probably going to take us another 2 or 3 years. I will say the minimum 5 years for us to get where we were before.
It might be.
Not to even go better, to bring us where we were before.
I mean, just look at the debt that, I'm just going by the U.S., the debt the U.S. accrued during that time. I mean, now we're accruing $1 trillion every year, but I mean, look at all that money. At least $7 or $8 trillion was spent on programs to let people stay home, to assist them. So on top of everybody kind of going nuts as well, because I was talking to somebody that used to work for an insurance company, and right after COVID hit, when people started moving around again, their insurance, their policies, or the policy holders were getting into accidents like 1,000% more than before. It was as if they said people forgot how to drive. You know, so you figure things like that, kids missing time in school, mental health issues where some people were stuck, and if they lived by themselves, you couldn't go out, you couldn't interact with people.
Or if they live with an abuser.
Yeah,
which,
yeah.
You know, you know, there was nowhere to escape.
Yeah,
there was nowhere to escape.
Yeah, so, and on top of the money, so I just kind of go back, not to beat this dead horse, but to go back to say, we had all these smart people trying to do this, and it seems like it was just a big mess up.
Well, like when we are pretty much just coming out of that $1 trillion deficit, we encountering another $1 trillion deficit with this illegal immigration.
Yeah. Right.
So this, I mean, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to help. It's going to put us even more in that we already are.
Yeah.
So, solution for that, what do you think?
The solution has to be.
I don't think
it has to be.
I don't think that building a wall is a solution.
No,
for it.
It has to be. Well, there has to be a wall at some points. There are some points in the border that have no wall at all. It's just got like a little fence you'd have in front of your house. So there's going to be a deterrent. You could have a 20-foot high wall with electric on it, but if they get over and we just say, come on in, you're welcome, go wherever you want, do whatever you want, that's not a deterrent. So it has to be, this is the reason why. I mean, every other country in this world has who can come in and what you have to have. So even Canada, if we wanted to immigrate to Canada, we have to get in there basically if we had a special skill that they need. Not just, I want to come here because I want to be Canadian.
Well, the difference that I think that people are coming now illegal versus people that were coming in here illegal 20 years ago was because people that are coming now, they know they're going to have the help here. They're going to have the services here. Versus the people that were doing 20 years ago, they knew they could not count with government or anything.
No.
Either you have a friend that's going to take care of you, or you have a family member that's going to pay your bills. You know, the government's not going to give you a penny. Now it's different. Now, before they even jump the wall, they already have the cards printed. You know, here. You made it. You made it.
Here's your $2,000, and here's your free phone.
I mean, that's what I don't understand. That's what I don't understand. And it's people that, and we talked about this for so many times already. For years we've been talking about this. How I'm in favor of giving work permits. Some of these people want to work 5 years and go back. We should take advantage of that. Because we have the jobs.
But they already have that program, Carlos. They do. When you go to the Cape or even New Hampshire in the summer, specifically the Cape, there's all these folks from Eastern Europe that you know, they're only there, Jamaica, they're only there from like May to October, and then they go home, and then they come back again. So there are these programs out there. I just think this problem is not going to get solved because there's one side of our government that thinks this isn't a problem. So I'll give you an example. This guy, Jerry Nadler, is a congressman in New York. And they were talking about what can we do to stop this? We can't, where do you put 200,000 people? 200,000 people walk in here in 1 month. Where do you put them? That's like creating a whole Providence, Rhode Island. We have a housing shortage for the people that live here now. So his response was, you know what his response was? We have so many jobs here, and Americans are not having kids anymore. We're not even keeping up with the replacement. Well, that's because of you people. You're telling people not to have kids. You're telling people not to have kids because you're killing the environment. You're doing this, that, and the other thing. Now you're throwing in Americans' faces that you're not having children. So this is why we need to bring people in here. One other quick thing is I'm afraid, you know, with letting people in, that, you know, whatever. but everything's being automated. Go into Aldi's, go into Walmart. When I went into Walmart a couple weeks ago, hadn't been there in like probably a couple months, I was shocked. There were 5 registers there, and everything else is self-checkout. So you're bringing folks in, you're automating everything. They just built a McDonald's that's totally automated with robots. What are these people going to do? What are they going to do?
I got an email from somebody. You probably know Chris. Chris went with us to Portugal with Sony.
Oh, okay.
You probably know. So he has this study that he did about how America is going to lose jobs.
Yeah.
How many jobs we're going to lose, and the number it's crazy. It's a crazy number.
Oh, yeah.
I will email you the study that he sent me. Very, very interesting. Is a lot of factories going to go computers. Going to go. They don't need more the manpower.
Yeah, exactly.
So where we going to get jobs for people, and I'm not even talking about the people coming over the border. I'm talking about
the people here.
Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. American residents, American citizens.
Yeah.
We have, if we don't start now working on and get a solution for, we're gonna have a big problem in our hands like in 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. No, and you know what's interesting? If you ever go, because I'm crazy that way, I talk to people, if I go into the store, I'm talking, they're all trying to tell you, go to the self-checkout, it's quicker, go to the self-checkout. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna go there, and that's gonna take away your job eventually, And they've said, you know what, you're right, and they see it happening, and they also said, and this is what just kills me with this, is that with those self-checkouts, there's a lot more stealing. Because they can't monitor. Yep. So why are these businesses willing to go into something knowing they're going to lose a lot of money on top of it to get rid of the workers? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And by bringing in 300,000 or 400,000 people in a month or whatever it is, and like you said, there's in 3 or 4 years, they're not going to need all these workers. What are people going to do? What are people going to do? And they're not thinking about
that's why I like on the contract permit, because after those 5 years, we don't have a job for you no more.
Yeah.
We send them back.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but even there, even that, we are getting invited by a lot of single.
Yeah. It's all single male.
People.
That's what happened in Europe. Remember
Angela
Merkel let all these people in.
I understand a guy that wants to feed his family, and he's looking for a better life, and he wants to come here with the wife and 2 kids, whatever. I think that's a difference. It's a big difference. Yeah. Then the guy just wants to come in here, single. I mean, I know, and I'm not saying all of them, but at some point, some of them is going to get involved in crime. Yeah. So it's going to need our.
Yeah. My thing that I just can't understand is that when people come through, they're told to say certain things, but it's like, it's very dangerous where I'm from, somewhere, say, in Central America. And it's amazing because there are Americans that are retiring, that are moving to Ecuador, that are moving to El Salvador, these places and Mexico. Mexico is another big place. These places are so dangerous. So my feeling always is, if I'm living in a dangerous place, I'm not going to leave my wife and daughter to fend for themselves and go somewhere else. If it's so dangerous there, I need to be there to help. You know what I mean? So that's why it's all just a bunch of crap. It's not really what the true story is.
Well, I was listening to WSAR about a month or 2 ago, and a very interesting caller called in, and we could understand that he was not born here because if it's English. Yeah. He speaks good English, but we could see that he was not born here. Yeah. And he said that he was in favor of the terrorists group.
In favor of terrorists?
Yes.
Oh.
In favor of the terrorism group. So I'm sitting down and I said, wait a minute. You were not born here, so somehow you lie on your application.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow, surprising.
You lie on your application because
Surprising.
that you don't have one question, you have a bunch of questions if you're gonna obey of our rules, okay, becoming an American citizen.
Yes.
So if you cross all that you're gonna obey, how can you call a radio station telling opposite what did you swear your hand up for?
Yeah.
So in cases like that, I think, yes, we should take your papers out because you lie on your application.
Yeah, exactly. But there's so many people flooding in. And I think we probably talked offline, you know, not on the show, that prior to, I think it was 1964, the U.S. only allowed 200,000 people into this country every year. And the reason for that is that people assimilated. You know, they wanted to be here, they assimilated, and it's not a big amount, so they're able to do that. But when you bring in, you know, 2 million, or what we had, 6 or 7 million people in the last 3 years, how are they going to assimilate into this country? And I think that's been the biggest problem. And not only, the people are coming from all over the world, right? You know what I mean? Like prior to the 60s, they were coming from Europe. So there were enough skirmishes in Europe for people not to get along. But when you're bringing people from, say, Pakistan and India together, they already don't get along. Yeah. So it just makes it
so the war is going to be here.
Yeah.
Not on their country.
Yeah, it's just a big mess for us because you're bringing everybody, but all their problems
the
that
war
they're coming
would be
from.
here. Yeah.
So that's why prior to 64, they only let a certain number of people in, so they assimilate. Because then they can say, you know what, I'm American. You know what I mean? Like when you came in, everybody was American. Now it's like, no, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this.
But my next question about that is, let's see if a Republican gets the White House. Okay, I don't even want to go the name of the president.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it as a Republican.
Yeah.
Because doesn't matter what Republican is, they want to shut the border, they want to build the wall.
Never happen though. They'll never be able to do it, Carlos. They will never be able to do it.
That's my question. They're all running with that promise of building the wall and kicking everybody out.
Yeah.
How that is possible?
Well, look what happened when the last president got in. And he said, all these 20 countries, you're not allowed to come in here until we vet you. And oh my God, I thought the friggin' world blew up. They all flipped out. And the funny part is, the president before him did the same thing. Did the same thing. So
it doesn't matter which president's going to do it. It's just that thing. If people
I've lost faith in. I've lost a lot of faith, unfortunately. You know, because under the prior president, I think that there were things that he could have did and should have did. Number one is get free Julian Assange in the UK. He was a reporter that came out with evidence. Nobody's denied that the stuff that he put out there isn't true. It was true. But he put it out there and they're punishing him. And the other guy is Edward Snowden. Why don't you bring him back? What are you afraid of? You know? So those are two things that I really didn't like. And I didn't like the January 6th thing, how he didn't say, stop, this is not right. We know there are issues going on here. Go home. Go home.
So, I don't know if you watched the caucus yesterday. Did you watch the?
I watched a little bit of it. It's
No, I watched. I started watching. Probably it was 6 o'clock, and I watched it until 11:30 or so, when most of the precincts were in, and the whole map was red.
Yeah.
The whole map was Trump.
Yeah.
And believe me, I was not surprised because that state is Republican. That state is
it never was though. They voted for Obama.
Yes, but
so it's changed.
But changed.
Yeah.
And it's Republican. I'm not surprised that Trump came in top there. Yeah. What I was surprised was the questions that they did with the majority. Yeah. You know, 68% saying that they don't believe. They believe that the election got stolen.
Yeah.
68%
That's what I mean, Carlos. This is not
those 20,000 people.
But the thing is, Carlos, when things happen during that election, Why weren't they addressed? They didn't address them. They never addressed these questions. It's absolutely amazing. If you tell the truth, then nobody can come back and act crazy and say that's not it. They never address the things that, even now, when anything happens, there's no evidence of that. There's absolutely no evidence Hunter Biden did this. There's no evidence. They'll go through and people will say this, and this. And if you turn on CNN or MSN, there's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence.
But
Right?
and
Right
gets even crazier is the persons that will vote even if Trump is guilty. You know,
Well,
still, people still saying, even if he's guilty, I will going to vote for him.
But you can also say that on the other side. This country is in a mess. Nobody can deny, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, this country is a mess. We're going into 3 wars. Inflation is 20 or 30% over the last couple of years. And people still think, if you ask some people, they'll think everything's just going splendidly in this country. Everything is great in this country. I would vote for him again.
Yeah.
And if you look back under Clinton, remember what Clinton said? It's the economy, stupid. It's not even that anymore.
That's why I'm saying the people running and getting the top vote, it's not going to resolve the problem. What we're going to do, we're going to switch the corn the other side.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
You know, we're just going to switch the corn the other side. It's going to see the same problems, okay? Because the two people that create the problem, they're not going to be able to resolve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I would hope.
This one now kicks to the other one that lost. The other one's going to win. It's going to kick to the other one that lost.
Yeah.
So we're not going to resolve the problem.
Yeah. Until they can come to a consensus. Back in the old days here, probably back in the 80s and 70s, in this area specifically, people thought a certain way. They'd be considered, you know, what do they call right wing back then? Because people were like, you know what? You earn your money, you take care of your family, you take care of yourself. Now that's considered a right wing kind of thing. So even people that were here before, and there are people that, Roseanne Barr, for example, she ran for president as a Democrat. She's a total liberal. And she's like, this country's changed. That party is not here anymore. It's totally gone.
And another problem too is then the president's going to have to fight the Congress and the House. You know what I'm saying? So even if you, how many orders he's gonna put on the books? Executive orders he's gonna have to do, so you have the power to actually do something.
It's a big mess. No, it is a big mess. It's a big
because
mess.
everything that he's going to run to the Congress and to the House, you know, is not. It's going to be stopped.
It's just a big mess. I don't know how.
So
it's
I
gonna
think
be resolved.
doesn't matter if the end of the year we're going to vote for this. We have the ballot, Biden and Trump. We're just going to kick the can down the road another 4 years. Because none of them is going to be able to resolve the problem.
Yep, I agree.
Because they cannot do anything by themselves. They need a group of people, and they disagreed on everything. So nothing's going to be done.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's a divided country, unfortunately. With that, I think we're over the time.
Oh, really?
Yep, with that, boa noite.
You guys have a good night.
Have a good night now.